dropping Connor Wood. Here comes pressure up the middle. He eludes it, running forward, rears back, rifles it wide open. P-Rich catch it at 35, and he is going to walk in. 10-5, touchdown! Touchdown, Colorado!
We're clicking pretty well. We had a really good practice out there today, getting ready for Central Arkansas. So the game gives us a lot of confidence going in this game, but understand that they're a good team. They're very athletic for their conference. Having a lot of fun. I mean, winning's fun, but at the same time, we had a really good practice today where we were just grinding out and working hard and getting back to work and kind of forgetting the game in some way, but using it as motivation to work even harder because we know how sweet winning tastes like. We want it more. It starts up with the offensive line. I didn't have any sacks. I don't really count the intentional grounding. I don't count that one. So I got no sacks up on Sunday. So that's huge. And we have a great receiving core that get open a lot. I have a ton of yards passing, and it's a huge part of that is them getting open for me.
Wood takes a snap, drops to throw, sets his feet, rifles it downfield. D.D. Goodson, end zone, makes the grab. Touchdown! Touchdown, Colorado! 18-yard strike. Touchdown pass number 2 for Connor Wood.
Well, he was certainly one of the stars of the game, Connor Woods, throwing for 400 yards and 3 touchdowns in that great victory over the Rams of the Rocky Mountain Showdown. Mark Johnson now joined by the offensive coordinator, Brian Lindgren. Connor was really amazing to watch, Brian. And for those of us who have been here for a while and saw the evolution of his career, that was the best we've ever seen him. Your assessment of what your quarterback did on Sunday?
No, I was impressed with Connor, definitely, and we were a little unsure on how he would perform. We'd never seen him, from live bullets, but very impressed with his performance. I thought he maintained. He was pretty cool under pressure and maintained his composure. And there's definitely some things that I think he's got to improve on. But overall, for the first game, I thought he made some nice decisions, got the ball out of his hand, and took care of the football for us.
Your job certainly is to work with him so that he understands the offense, the X's and O's, the mental gymnastics, work on the way he throws a football. But there's also the mental aspect of things, and he appears to carry himself a little bit different. How big of a challenge has that been, and how big of a part of a coach's job is that?
That's huge, and we work on that all the time, and just the preparation. And Connor, to his credit, has handled it very professionally. He really goes about it like a professional and puts in a lot of time and effort. And we do a lot of visualization, a lot of film study, and he worked really hard over the summer and the last couple weeks preparing for that Colorado State game, and I felt like he was prepared, and he went out there and he made good decisions under fire.
Connor Wood dropping a throw, lofts it down the left side. P-Rich, he's got it, and he's gone. 25-20, 15-10, 5 touchdown. You ain't going to catch him.
Well, it sure is nice to have Paul Richardson back. I don't need to tell Buffs fans that, or probably you at this point. Such a special talent. He certainly, his first game back after missing of all 2012, over 200 yards receiving and a couple of long touchdowns.
Yeah, Paul, it was, he's a really explosive player, and it was great to see him get behind the defense a couple of times and make those big plays because he's definitely capable of doing that. And I think the thing with him is just him being more consistent all throughout the game. But it was definitely exciting to see him get behind the defense. That's something that we had seen, since the spring and really wanted to showcase in that first game.
It can always make a quarterback look good when they're not getting touched. And as we go back to Connor Wood, he wasn't touched a whole lot. The Buffs surrender 0 sacks in that ball game. Talk a little about that offensive line that has some newness up there this season. Yeah,
they did a great job. I think Coach Bernardi did a nice job preparing the offensive line. Colorado State gave us a lot of different looks, a lot of different pressures, and that front five and the running back tight end group really did a nice job of preparing and then picking those things up. And I thought Connor did a nice job sliding in the pocket and avoiding some of the pressures as well. But there were some things that we definitely have got to clean up. I think you guys saw, and it definitely by any means wasn't perfect. So I think it was good for the first game, but we still got room for improvement.
A little bit over 100 yards rushing, in fact, for the Buffaloes against the Rams. Now, that can be twofold. It can be maybe an offensive line that's not creating holes. It could also be the way a defense plays. How did you see that after that ball game?
I think it was a little bit. I think it was a little bit of both. I think first we look in the mirror, and there were things that we could have done, up front. I think running back wise, tight end wise, even quarterback wise, and receiver wise, everybody was involved with the run game. Things that we can do better, and I think that's the stuff that we've really got to look at. And Colorado State had a good game plan. I thought, they did some movement and gave us some looks up front that presented some challenges for us, and that's one of the goals this week is we really got to, we're really focusing on running the ball and doing a better job of that.
D.D. Goodson has always been a versatile guy, great little athlete, and he's been used in a number of different ways here. Had his first career touchdown against the Rams on Sunday. He's a kind of a nice piece to the offensive chess pieces you can use out there.
Yeah, he's definitely a weapon, and the thing about it I love D.D. is he shows up every day, and he's giving you great effort every day, and he's got some ability. You know, he's just a really consistent guy, and it was great. He's been making those plays for us since the spring and all through fall camp. It was great to see him out there making those plays against Colorado State.
Talk a little bit about calling a game from an offensive coordinator standpoint. So many times you hear people talk about getting in a rhythm. How is it from your perspective when you're calling a ball game?
Yeah, the rhythm is huge. I think anytime that you're moving the chains and the players are getting a rhythm, your quarterback's getting to a rhythm. I mean, it makes it a lot easier to call plays. And you know, the guys did a nice job. The quarterback did a nice job pushing the tempo for us, and they did a nice job of executing. I mean, it was a fun game to call.
You know, that tempo you're talking about was really, from my standpoint, calling a game something you get used to. It was so fast. Was it the pace you want it to be, or will this thing get faster as these guys learn the process?
I think it can get faster, and I think you know, we've been practicing it, but in the game it's a little bit different, and especially when we're substituting, I think we can be a little bit more efficient. So I think it was quick, but it's definitely not where we want it to be yet.
I don't think you or anybody else around this football program needs to be reminded what FCS schools did this past weekend. 8 victories by FCS schools last week in Week 1 of the college football season over FBS. I bring that up because this weekend, of course, Central Arkansas comes to town. Tell us what you see in the Bears.
Yeah, I mean, Central Arkansas is a great team. I mean, they're traditionally in the FCS playoffs, and I've coached at that level for many years and have a great respect for the teams that are able to get in the playoffs there. And they played Arkansas State really tough. They played Ole Miss really tough in the past years. So, and they're very athletic and very talented, and they're someone that we cannot overlook, and we've got to get our guys prepared to go.
Well, as you well know, you were at that level. I was at that level as an announcer at one point in time. They come in with a little chip on their shoulder when they face one of the big boys.
Definitely. I think those players, often feel like they were overlooked and should have been playing at a higher level. And I know that was something that we always sold as coaching staffs when I was at the FCS level. So I think they're going to be ready to go, and we're going to have to be ready to go as well.
Now, when you're a team like the Buffaloes coming off a 1-11 record, you shouldn't get big-headed about anything. But do you guys have to this week temper your team a little bit, whether it be Connor and the way he played the other day, or the entire squad about, fellas, we've accomplished nothing at this point?
Yeah, and I think Coach McIntyre has been really stressing it's a 1-week season, and it's one game at a time. And this is the week that we got to get a victory over Central Arkansas. They're the opponent, and we've got to do everything we can between now and Saturday, to prepare our guys to get that win.
All right, Brian, we appreciate the time.
Thank you for having me.
All right, offensive coordinator Brian Lindgren and the Buffaloes with a victory over the Rams in week number 1. This week it is FCS school, Central Arkansas at Folsom Field. We'll hit the air, by the way, on AM 760 with our radio broadcast at 4 o'clock with the pregame, just after 6 o'clock with the kickoff. Thanks for joining us this week on CUBuffs.com.